guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a very good day. So for today's video, I want to start a new series. It's called my bucket list. Essentially, I want to talk about books that I want to read before I hit the bucket. I know it's horrible, but I couldn't think of anything better. Sorry. So this series was actually inspired by books to pine for. If you've been around the book blogosphere, you've probably come across these posts before. Essentially, readers would talk about their most anticipated books that are coming out. But in this case, I'll be talking about books that have already been out or have not been out. You know, whatever tickles my fancy. Essentially, this is my to-be read list, and I'm breaking it down into video form. Of course, each video will be themed because I love the themes, and I'll also be showing the book cover right over here. So that's pretty much it. I think it'll be really great because it takes off the pressure of having to buy so many books to show you, as well as, you know, lift the guilt of not having to read these books right away. So I think that's really good. Anyways, let's get started. The theme for this video is I don't know what to read next. I'll just read a book by an author that I've enjoyed in the past. Sometimes if I don't know what to read next, I will look for a book by an author I had previously enjoyed. And in this case, whether I've read multiple books by a certain author or just one book by them, these books in particular have caught my eye and I'd really like to check out sometimes. So the first author on my list, guys, is Mr. Alexandre Dumas. I first read The Count of Monte Cristo last year. I'm so glad I bought the ebook version of it because it's quite a big book. But I really enjoyed that story a whole lot, guys. I don't mention it enough. Even though it's a really long story, I found the plot really complex and intricate and very interesting. I was engaged and I thought the characters were excellently written as well. So the next book I'd really like to check out by Mr. Dumas is, of course, The Three Musketeers, another classic. One of the main characters in the story is D'Artagnan. He leaves home to join the Musketeers of the Guard, who include Athos, Porthos, and Aramis. So I'm really looking forward to reading that book sometime. I'm anticipating there's going to be a lot of action, a great plot line, and fantastic characters. You can't go wrong, hopefully. So the next author on my list, guys, is Mr. Joe Hill. He is the son of Stephen King. You may know I read the Lock and Key comics a few months ago, written by Joe Hill and illustrated by Gabriel Rodriguez. I adore that story a whole lot. It's very dark, mind you, and quite graphic and violent, but it's really imaginative and fantastical and awesome. So if you haven't checked that series out yet, you should. Anyways, the next book I really like to check out, written by Joe Hill, is Horns. This is mainly your fault. You guys recommended this book to me. The main character in Horns is Ig. His family is really wealthy and well connected. The plot is Ig's significant other, Marin, had been murdered and Ig was suspected of doing the deed. Yeah. But because his family is wealthy and has a lot of connections, he was never charged or tried. And the after effects of having his beloved Marin killed, he has horns and magical powers and abilities. I don't know how that comes about, but he uses these powers to find the monster who had killed Marin. So that sounds pretty cool. I'd really love to check it out. You may have seen a clip going around the interwebs of Daniel Radcliffe, who plays the main character. I didn't realize this film was based on this book, so I'm really looking forward to reading the book and checking out the film because Daniel Radcliffe, American accent, horns, Joe Hill. The next author on my list, guys, is Miss Jane Austen. I absolutely adored Pride and Prejudice. It's probably one of my favorite books ever. It's such a fun read. I also read Sense and Sensibility by her. It wasn't my cup of tea for me personally. So the next book I'd really love to check out by Miss Austen is Persuasion. If you're not familiar with Persuasion, the main character in that story is Anne Elliot. She's 27 years old. Anne Elliot is engaged to Frederick Wentworth, but twist, here's the crazy thing. Her friend tells her to break off the engagement because she feels he is not worthy of her. I know, and she does it too, and she deeply regrets it. Anyways, Wentworth goes off to sea. He comes back as a big shot while Anne Elliot and her family is struggling financially. And so the question is, will she get back together with him? If they do, will it be for the right reasons? Will he forgive her? I don't know. It sounds pretty dramatic and intense. The next author on my list, guys, is Mr. Neil Shusterman. He has written the Unwinding series, which I absolutely adore. His third book, I believe Unsold, is already out, and I need to read that sooner than later. I really enjoy his stories a whole lot. I really like the themes and how deep these stories can get. Another series by him I'd really love to check out is the Everlost series. The two main characters in this story is Nick and Allie. They've died and their souls seem to be wandering between life and death, kind of in a state of limbo, and this limbo is called Everlost, and I believe the description describes Everlost as the shadow of the living. And lost children inhabit Everlost as well. It kind of sounds like a dark, twisted Neverland to me. And it seems that Nick has found his home in Everlost, while Allie isn't looking forward to spending eternity in this place. So I'm really looking forward to this series as well. It sounds really good. The next author on my list, guys, is Mr. Michael Legrand. He, of course, wrote the Gone series. I absolutely adored it at the beginning, and then it was kind of a roller coaster ride throughout this series. But what I did enjoy about the series was its over-the-top nature, the crazy characters. So the next series I'd really like to check out is Berserk, and it sounds just as over-the-top and crazy. The antagonist in this story is Charles and Benjamin Armstrong, and their vision of the future is a utopia. No war, no conflict, no hunger, but the catch is you have to give up your free will. But the people who are opposed to this are, of course, teenagers, obviously. And the codename for these group of teenagers is called Berserk, and they're fighting for their right to be messed up. I think that's what it says in the description. I know, I love the descriptions, it's so much fun. And how they're fighting is that they're shrinking on a nano level in people's brains. I'm expecting some cheese, but sounds like a fun ride anyways. And the last author on my list, guys, is Mr. Neil Gaiman. I've only read a few books of his, mainly middle grade fiction, so I'd really like to read more of his adult fiction work. The next book I'd really like to check out is Sandman, and this is a comic series. It's published by DC, and I believe it's set in the DC universe. The character in the series is Dream. He's imprisoned for 70 years, and when he gets out, he tries to rebuild his kingdom. I'm looking forward to reading it because it is a comic series and just the visuals of it all. I'm going to have eyegasms probably, so that would be really great. Anyways, guys, those are my authors on my bucket list. Who are your favorite authors you'd like to check out more of? So that's everything, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will talk to you later and have a very good one. Bye.